Hi, my name is David Knight, and welcome to those amazing Psalms. Psalm 47, King of the Whole World. This song is exuberant with joy, singing, trumpet fanfare, and applause. It's an international celebration that makes me think of the Olympic Games opening ceremony, where each nation parades in their finest athletes until the host nation brings the procession to its climax. The applause is thunderous with pride and anticipation. All that is here in this song, except there is no competition. The song invites the nations of the world to unite in celebrating the majesty and grace of God as the undisputed King of all the world. Clap your hands, all you nations. Shout to God with joyful praise, for the Lord Most High is awesome. He is the great King over all the earth. Someone has said that the purpose of the Psalms is to stir us to wholehearted doxology. This psalm does that for sure, as God is acclaimed as the undisputed King over all the earth. As host nation, Israel invites the whole global community to join them in homage and joyful praise. This is our birthright as human beings. As Timothy Keller says, God is the fuel that our human souls were designed to run on. The greater our awe and the greater our submission to God as our true King, the greater the pleasure that we derive from our worship. The second stanza, verses 3 and 4, allude to two contrasting acts of God, conquest and grace. He subdued nations under us, putting our enemies under our feet. He chose our inherited home for us, the pride of Jacob, whom he loved. This psalm does not explore the historic process by which Israel inherited their land. It simply extols God as the one who chose Israel and bestowed on her a land to call home. Israel proudly celebrates this act of sheer grace by which she was loved into significance. The middle stanza, verses 5 and 6, describe the momentous event during King David's reign when the Ark of the Covenant was brought up into Jerusalem with music, dancing, and song. God has ascended with a mighty shout. The Lord has ascended with trumpets blaring. Sing praises to God. Sing praises. Sing praises to our King. Sing praises. This summons to praise in the Psalms has rightly been called the Old Testament anticipation of New Testament evangelism. In its ancient setting, the word ascended implied God's ascending his earthly throne as the Ark of the Covenant was installed in the tabernacle and later in Solomon's temple, as a dramatized symbol of God's eternal sovereignty over all the earth. But the word ascended acquired an even greater significance after the incarnation, death, and resurrection of Jesus, and then his ascension back to his Father's right hand. Ephesians 1:20 and 21 says, God raised Christ from the dead and seated him at the place of honor at his right hand in the heavenly realms. Now he is far above any ruler or authority or power or leader, not only in this world, but in the world to come. This is good news for the whole world. The ascended Christ now welcomes people from every culture and race, every nation and language into one new humanity. God promised Abraham that all nations of the earth would be blessed through him. That blessing is seen in the final verse of Psalm 47 that imagines the nobles of the nations assembling as the people of the God of Abraham. The segregation between Jew and Gentile has evaporated, and all nations join their voices together to acclaim that all the earth belongs to God and that he is highly honored everywhere. Or, as Philippians 2 says, that every tongue will proclaim that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. If the purpose of the Psalms is to stir us to heartfelt doxology, let me suggest some ways to live that doxology. First, to practice awe and reverence to God as my King. Second, to take up my role of proclaiming and promoting His reign of justice and peace, and to cultivate gratitude as a habit of my heart, and to practice xenophilia, that is, love of strangers, welcoming people from other cultures just as God does, to pray for the extending of God's reign on earth, and to pray for His will to be done here as it is in heaven, and to intercede for the nations, for leaders, for peoples, and for individuals who are not yet assembled into the family of God. That's my take on Psalm 47. Take care.